What's happening, sports heads, my sports fans? How you doing? Guess what time it is? It is time for our Sunday sports wrap with your sports guy Kendrick, the sports guy. And guess what? You're watching TFG Sports Media, 30-minute sports talk show, the best sports talk show on social media. Again, I am your host Kendrick, the sports guy. I hope everyone is having a great weekend. It is a beautiful Sunday afternoon. Sun is shining. The temps is warmed up a little bit here in Texas, and I all is happy for me because I am a warm weather person. There's nothing about the winter that I like. Period. And it just so happens I was born in the winter. I was born in January, so go figure. But again, we're gonna sit here. We're gonna talk sports for about 30 minutes. Make sure you come in. Make sure you come in and like the broadcast. Make sure you share it to all your social media platforms. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channels. That is TFG Sports Media on YouTube, and that is Kendrick Sports Hustle. That's SporTZHustle on YouTube as well. Make sure you like and follow Kendrick Sports Hustle and TFG Sports Media on Facebook. And you can follow me, Kendrick Henderson 51, on TikTok, because I am live on TikTok as well right now. And you can also follow me on Instagram. That is Kendrick1969. And you can also follow me on my personal Facebook page. That is Kendrick Henderson, Kendrick Roland Henderson, excuse me. So make sure you do all that. Make sure you come in and comment. Let me know you're in here so we can converse a little bit, talk a little bit about what's happened this past week in the world of sports. We had some breaking news actually happen overnight as well. If you didn't hear, my guy, Mr. Richard Sherman, NFL analyst. He's also with Undisputed. He was arrested early Saturday morning, I believe, in Washington on suspicion of DUI, driving under the influence. So that is something that we are doing right now. So that's something that he has to deal with. Now, obviously, he won't be in on Undisputed on Monday. So we can best believe that. So he won't be at work on Monday. Hopefully he'll still have a job. But again, he did get arrested for suspicion of driving under the influence. As far as I know right now, he hasn't bonded out and he is still in jail. So make sure you again come in TFG Sports Media. If you are, I'm on TikTok too. You can watch this on YouTube as well. TFG Sports Media. That's why you're gonna see me going back and forth, so we can chat a little bit. I'm gonna try to read some of the comments from both places as well. So come in, like, comment, let me know you're here so we can chat a little bit. Now let's get to our first topic. We talking about those Dallas Cowboys. News came down this week. Well, it was what's up, DJ Dwayne Juice, my good brother. If you're on TikTok, make sure if you're not following the coldest DJ on TikTok, make sure you go to DJ Dwayne Juice 03, because he got the juice. Make sure you go follow my good brother, DJ Dwayne Juice. I know I do. So make sure you go check him out. Hope you're having a good Sunday, my brother. We're talking a little sports, but let's talk about this Jerry Jones and Jimmy Johnson reunited, and it feels so good. Sound like to me that they got their relationship is back on track after Jimmy was finally inducted into the Dallas Cowboys Ring of Honor back in December. Well, Jimmy Johnson would go on a radio show in Miami, and he would say that he is now he's part of the Jerry Jones Advisory Board. Yeah, that's what he said. He said he's part of that. So we're gonna see how this goes, but I think it's a good thing. Let me read a couple of comments. First of all, Miss Carol, how you doing? Oh, Carol, I'm sorry. Well, yeah, the judge is out for the weekend. Yep, that's right, on Richard Sherman. So he won't be getting out until probably sometime Monday. Toria says, do not feel sorry for these rich dudes. They can call a Uber. That is right. That is right. Toria's speaking of Carol, that's all right. And exactly, Toria, by the way, happy Sunday. So I got Toria and Carol in watching me on YouTube, which is cool. But back to Jimmy Jones. Jerry Jones and Jimmy Johnson, the 4 J's is what I call them. Jimmy did go on the radio show in Miami, said that he is now going to be a advisor to Jerry Jones. He said that they both talked about an hour after the Cowboys lost to the my Packers in the playoffs. So, and I think this is a good thing. And you know why? Not to say that Jerry's going to take take his advice. You know, it's basically just a advisory role. So it's not like, you know, again, like Jerry's gonna take his advice. But I think it's good that maybe Jerry will have the guy that he had the most success with back in his ear to maybe to help him make some better personnel decisions, financial cap decisions when it comes to the salary cap. Obviously, Stephen Jones, who's one of the sons of Jerry, he is kind of the salary cap mastermind behind working the numbers and all that, far as you know, in NFL. But with Jimmy, you know, Jimmy was a no nonsense type cat. You know, those '90s Cowboys, you can like them or you love them, but Jimmy built that team and he built it smartly, i.e., the biggest thing he did was he hustled the Minnesota Vikings with that Herschel Walker trade. And yeah, I said it, he hustled them because he sent Herschel Walker to the Vikings, and the Cowboys got a ton of draft picks, and they built those Super Bowl teams from those draft picks. So having Jimmy back in his ear, I think is definitely going to be a help. Now, will you see the results of this on the field? That's the biggest question. And, you know, I don't know how much is going to help on the field with Mike McCarthy, you know, on the sideline. But we'll see. You know, they got Mike Zimmer now back, who was with Jimmy for a little bit. Mike Zimmer is now the new defensive coordinator for the Cowboys. You know, Dan Quinn is now in Washington. So we'll see if this will translate into more success in the playoffs. Now, let's be honest. The Cowboys have had pretty decent regular seasons the last 5 or 6 years. But, you know, at the end of the day, 12-5 for 3 years in a row or 2 years in a row, that ain't going to cut it. When you the Cowboys, DJ Dwayne Juice says, yep, that's true. That ain't going to cut it. Eventually, you got to get to an NFC championship game at least. And they haven't been the one in, 30 years. So, and the last time they went, guess who? It was it was Barry Switzer, but it was Jimmy's team. But again, it's been 30 years. So I think at this point, Jerry Jones is 81 years old. He's getting up in age. And I think maybe he's feeling like, you know what, I may not have much time left. I might have to check my ego at the door, and let somebody and let me take some advice for someone that I was successful with and see what we can do with this Dallas Cowboys team. Because they got to fix some things, you know. So we're gonna see how if this reuniting of these two is it gonna if it's gonna work for this Cowboys team. They do have some issues. They got some things they got to fix. I think they got to fix their defensive line. They got to be able to stop the run better. They're not real big at the linebacker position. They're gonna have to get some bigger players at that position. Offensive line, they probably gonna have to figure out what they're gonna do with Tyron Smith. He hasn't played a whole lot in the last 5 years. So and what they're going to do with their run game as far as Tony Pollard. He didn't turn out to be the Tony Pollard that we had seen the last 2 years when he was playing behind Ezekiel Elliott. So again, there we have it. You have it. Jimmy Johnson, Jerry Jones, the 4 J's are back together again, and they say we're going to see what happens. So, and the NFL Combine is right around the corner, by the way. If you don't know, that takes place in Indianapolis. That's in about 2 weeks, I believe. And head coach Mike Zimmer and new defensive coordinator Mike Zimmer won't be there because they're trying to get their new schemes in place for this upcoming season. But they will be doing video chats with some of the players and all that stuff. So, again, Jimmy Johnson, Jerry Jones, back again to see if they can spin the block. Can they spin the block and recreate that magic they had in the 90s? Only time will tell. All right, speaking of spinning the block, if you ain't heard about this story, well, you already know. We're talking, there's a no bull tour going on in the land down under in Australia. Yeah, some Chicago Bulls from those 90s team, they decided to form a new group with Scottie Pippen as the lead singer, Horace Grant and Luke Longley as the backup, and I think they should call themselves the Salty Three. That's my name for this new group that Scottie has put together, the Salty Three. Now, if you hadn't heard, Scottie Pippen, Horace Grant, and Luke Longley, former Chicago Bulls, champions, by the way. Let me put that in there. They're champions. They have taken their show on the road in Australia. It kicked off Friday, and it's called the No Bull Tour, but Horace Grant calls it the No Bullshit Tour, which I get it. And so they're going to talk about their time with those Chicago Bulls championship teams. You know, Scottie was there for all 6. Horace Grant was there for the first 3, but he's a 4-time champ. He won one with the Lakers. And Luke Longley was there for 3, the last 3. And they're going to be talking about their time with the Bulls, and I'm sure they're going to be talking about the Last Dance documentary. Because if you don't know, Scottie Pippen was the biggest cheerleader of not liking the Last Dance documentary that Michael Jordan was the executive producer. It was dropped back in May of 2020. And after it came out, Scottie was like, you know what? That's a wrap. I'm gonna speak my piece. And then he will go on to write a book called Unguarded by Scottie Pippen that came out in November of 2021. And he just went in on his former teammate. And I'm assuming they were friends. I don't think they were ever friends now that I'm looking at the way Scottie's doing, Michael Jordan. So this tour, you got to buy a ticket to get in. They're answering questions. It's kind of like, you know, they taking questions from the fans, and they're going to tell some stories from those Chicago Bulls teams. Look, I'm just going to go and keep it funky. I already know what this is about. This is a Scottie Pippen money grab, and somehow he talked Horace Grant and the Luke Longley into do it. I think Luke Longley is just collateral. I just think he's along for the ride, you know. But Horace Grant, I know he's had some critical things to say about MJ, and we all know Scottie Pippen has had a whole lot to say, and a lot of it is straight is ludicrous. And I'm not talking about the rapper, but a lot of the things that he said about his former teammate Michael Jordan is ludicrous in my mind. But again, who am I to tell a man how to tell their story? But we all know that Scottie is very salty about Mike. Don't know where this all of a sudden it came from after the Last Dance. It's just interesting that prior to the Last Dance documentary, that Scottie never really said anything disparaging about Mike. But sound like to me this was always in him. This is just my observation. His relationship with Mike. He was wearing Air Jordans and all that in all this, you know, and now he's downplaying Mike's contribution to those championships. And if you've seen sound bites from Michael Jordan talk about Scottie, he always gave Scottie his praise. He always said that, you know, I probably wouldn't have won those 6 chips without Scottie Pippen. He was very important to that Chicago Bulls run. He was the Robin to his Batman, and that's true. And I'm trying to see, why is that such a bad thing? Why is that a bad thing? You won 6 championships, and maybe you were, you know, the Robin to his Batman, but why is that a bad thing? I don't get Scottie Pippen. I don't get where he's coming from with that. But I just think he's a little salty. You know, that's all I can say. And I know it's going to be a lot of shade thrown at MJ. Toria says the crybaby tour, and they need to let it go and grow up. I totally agree, Miss Toria. But again, I'm not going to sit here and say that these guys don't have their own stories. You know, DJ Dwayne Juice says Pippen's ex getting with MJ's son may contribute to the saltiness. That is, but I don't know if you heard, DJ, they broke up. And I think everybody knew that was going to happen. I don't know if you heard, but yeah, Marcus Jordan and Scottie's ex, Larsa Pippen, they did break up. That happened sometime last week. And I'm like, who didn't see that coming? I knew that wasn't going to last. That was crazy anyway from the jump. So, yeah. So, again, back to Scottie, man, I think that dudes like him, man, you really have to be careful of who you call. You think that's your bro or your buddy, because a lot of times they can be jealous of you the whole time and have all this pent up envy and stuff. And then and you think all is cool. Then next thing you know, they writing books, they going on their little media tours, you know, saying negative things about you. And again, that's what it is. So Scottie, this definitely ain't a good look at all. But I'm not surprised he did it. Again, he wrote that book called Unguarded, and it was straight. I hadn't read it. I looked at the sales. The sales have been so. But again, he got it off his chest. But you know, my thing with Scottie, what did you do after MJ? You know, when MJ did leave for that year and a half, 2 years, you was pissed off at your head coach. You didn't call him racist, Phil Jackson. You was pissed that Tony Kukoc got that last shot in that New York Knicks series. You was pissed, but you didn't play well that game. So I don't get what's up with Scottie with this, but I get it's a money grab. It's in Australia. It kicked off on Friday. Then Horace Grant, he said took a couple of shots at Mike as well. And Luke Longley, I don't know. Like again, I just think he's along for the ride, and it's Australian. He's from Australia, so I guess that's how it's going. So again, it's called the No Bull Tour. It kicked off on Friday. I've been trying to see how it's been going with some receipts and ticket sales. I hadn't found any information on that just yet. But we're gonna see. Hold on just a second. Hold on just a second. Somebody might want to join me live on TikTok. But again, that's where we at with this No Bull Tour. I'd like to know what you all think about Scottie Pippen, Horace Grant, and Luke Longley going on tour. The talk, and I don't know if it's going to come to the States. They never mention of if this is going to be happen over here in the States or not. Right now it's in Australia. Didn't say how long they were going to be on this tour or not. Then it may be coming over to the States, and I wonder I think it'll be interesting. I think a lot of people will probably want to go check it out just to hear what they got to say. I know Scottie is getting bashed by everybody in the media, sports media world, that is. Stephen A. Smith, he went on his tirade talking about Scottie. Other couple of sports media personalities had their take on it as well. Again, my take is I think Scottie is salty. I'm an MJ guy. Y'all, I think most people that know me, he's my GOAT. I did not say he was the GOAT. I'm speaking of MJ. I said he is my GOAT. And there's no debate that's going to change that. All this stuff that the Michael Jordan slander is on 10, I see, but that's not gonna keep him from being my GOAT. DJ Dwayne Juice says, me and you should go and sit in the front row if they come to the U.S. I agree. We need to do that, Juice. We got to do that because I damn sure will be there because I'll be a heckler. They'll probably throw me out because I'll be heckling them like a comedian. You feel me? Like those hecklers be at the comedy shows. They've been and threw me out, but I would have got my money's worth just being there. So we'll see what the No Bullshit Tour is going to be. And I think it's heavy. I think it's heavy on the bull and heavy on, on shit as well. So we'll keep it at that. So we're going to move on to our next story, kind of changing the pace here. Got a report. We had some deaths in the sports world this week as well. Before I get to that story, I'm gonna read a comment from Miss Carol. Yes, I want to be there. Carol Chamberlain says, I want to be. Yes, I want to be there. Cry babies. Yeah, I think we all want to be there, Carol. If you haven't already, make sure you like, subscribe to the channel. That is TFG Sports Media on on YouTube, and make sure you like and follow TFG Sports Media on Facebook as well as Kendrick Sports Hustle. Make sure you comment, like, share this to all your social media platforms. Now, we got some sad news that we got to report before we get out of here. First of all, we're going back to the Dallas Cowboys. Also, let me say this. I'd like to thank Miss Toria, Carol, my guy DJ Dwayne Juice for dropping in and chopping it up with me on this beautiful Sunday. We talking sports. But we got to report a death over from the Dallas Cowboys. Golden Richards. I don't know if you all remembered Golden Richards. But I always said he had the perfect name for the wide receiver position, where he was a former Dallas Cowboys. He was instrumental in their 1978 Super Bowl win versus the Denver Broncos when he caught that halfback pass. I believe it was from Robert Newhouse. And he passed away on this past Friday at the age of 73 from congestive heart failure. His nephew was the first to report this on social media and said that his uncle had been having some health issues the last couple of years. He actually, back in December of 2022, I believe, he broke his hip. He had to have hip surgery and all that. And he also had numerous concussions too, which led to him retiring in 1980. So again, we definitely got to send our condolences out to the Richards family, to the Dallas Cowboys family. Again, Golden Richards. I remember watching that Super Bowl. I was a little shorty. I remember him having the blonde hair. And I was like, man, I'm like, who is this white dude catching these passes like that? And so yeah, he was a pretty fast dude. He was from Utah. He went to BYU. And he also played for the Chicago Bears and the Denver Broncos, but he was most known for playing with the Dallas Cowboys. So again, we got to say I send our condolences to the Richards family, as well as the Cowboys family, and to the NFL family, as well as the Bears and the Denver Broncos. So go to Richards. May you continue to rest in power, my man. And Cowboys, again, like you said, we are sending our condolences to you guys. Now, we had another death as well on Monday. If you remember, if you're a big Houston Rockets fan, you got to remember this guy, Robert Reed. I remember him really well because by the time he came to the league, he was drafted in 1977 out of St. Mary's University in San Antonio. But when Magic came in the league a couple of years after him, I always thought these two guys, as far as their size, because Robert Reed was 6'8", and he played the guard position. Obviously, Magic 6'9", played point guard. I was like, okay, we might be changing the landscape on how big these point guards are going to be. And Robert Reed was very instrumental in those Houston Rockets teams. But according to reports, Robert Reed died on Monday from a battle of cancer. According to reports, don't know what type of cancer he had, but he was only 68 years old. Now, again, Robert Reed was very instrumental on those early Rockets teams in the 80s. Those two teams that went to the finals against the Celtics. The first year in 80-81 when they played the Celtics, they were coached by Dale Harris, by the way. Robert Reed was the starter on that 80-81 team that went to the finals versus the Celtics. I think they lost that in 6. And then again, he was on the team that went to the 85-86 finals, who Bill Fitch was the coach of the Rockets at that point, but he was coming off the bench at that time, and they lost to the Celtics again. So again, Robert Reed was a very instrumental part of those Houston Rockets, those successful teams from the early 80s. And, it's just sad, man. 68. You have him 68. You had, Golden Richards 70, 73. I mean, technically, that's not old at all. And it is young. Carol Chamberlain says, so sad. Rest in peace. Gone too soon. I agree, Carol. You just these young they're fairly young now. I remember growing up when I thought 40 was old. When being you was a teenager, and you thought, oh man, 40, that's old. Now that I'm in my mid 50s, and then you have Robert Reed at 68 passing away. Then again, Golden Richards at 73. That's not old at all. So you just hate to hear this happen. Now I do know something interesting about Robert Reed. He did retire back. I want to say for one season because of his religious beliefs. He did retire, but he would come back and he would play a couple of more years for a couple of other teams. Toria says prayers go out to both families for the loss of their loved ones. Thank you, Toria. You're right. And we're sending our prayers and condolences again to the Reed family, the Houston Rockets family, as well as the NBA family. Again, Robert Reed was a lethal shooter too. When you talk about sharpshooters, Robert Reed, if you remember him, I remember him from those Rockets teams. He was a sharpshooter and he could defend as well because he was a big guy, 6'8". So again, we lost two good guys, man. From what all I read about Golden Richards, he was a good guy, and then and Robert Reed, nothing but positive stuff to be talked about him. So again, rest in power to Mr. Reed as well as Mr. Richards. So we're down to the end of our show. I want to thank again Miss Toria. I want to thank Carol Chamberlain. I want to thank my guy DJ Dwayne Juice over on TikTok for popping in with me. We just, again, I like to come on Sundays around 2 just to chat about some of the hottest topics that happened this week. I got a story I'm going to be posting to my TFG Sports Media, Kendrick Sports Hustle, and my TikTok that I'm going to be posting a little bit about. We're going to be talking about court storming. I don't know if you saw last night where the Duke Blue Devils, number 8 ranked Duke Blue Devils, they got upset by Wake Forest, and the Wake Forest fans stormed the court. And one of the top players for Duke could possibly be injured from that court storming, a knee injury. And it happened because of these fans running on these courts. And again, it's something I'm going to be posting. I did a little segment on that. I'm going to be posting it here shortly to TFG Sports Media, Kendrick Sports Hustle, and TikTok. So make sure you check it out if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channels. That is TFG Sports Media on YouTube, Kendrick Sports Hustle on YouTube. Make sure you follow me on TikTok, Kendrick Henderson 51. Follow me on Facebook, Kendrick Roland Henderson. And you also can follow me on Facebook, Kendrick Sports Hustle, as well as TFG Sports Media. So make sure you do all that good stuff. Have a good day. Thank you. Tori, you do the same. You have a good day as well. And it was dangerous. Yeah, Tori, it was very dangerous. So I'm gonna be posting that story again here in a little bit once I get done with the show. But again, I just want to thank everybody for popping in and joining me. Again, you can tune in. You can catch me here every Sunday, 2 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Just talking about what happened the previous week, some of the top sports stories, and maybe breaking some sports news as well. So make sure you hit that notification bell. That's very important. If you're on YouTube, hit that notification bell to be alerted when I'm going live or when I'm posting new stories or when I'm doing a sports break-in, TFG Sports Media and Kendrick Sports Hustle. Make sure you hit that notification bell to be alerted when all new content, new stuff is going to be popped up. So again, I am Kendrick the Sports Guy. I hope you all have a great rest of your Sunday. Hope you all have a great beginning of the week. And you can catch me here this time next Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern. But also go check out some of the stories I posted already. Trying to get that views up on YouTube, so I can get that monetization. Getting close to it. So I just need your help with that. So again, I want to thank everybody that dropped in on TikTok, everybody that dropped in on YouTube and Facebook. Again, you guys enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I am Kendrick the Sports Guy. We will see you on the next report. I am out. Peace. All right, TikTok. I'm out of here.